Hi guys, here I am again. So the other day something guided me to watch an episode of Star Trek Voyager, which I hadn't watched for ages, and it said go season 7, I think it's episode 12, I'm not sure, it doesn't really matter. It's where one of the crew, B'Elanna Torres, who's half Klingon, is pregnant, and they come across this old bird of prey, which is a Klingon vessel, but a very old one, and it's this group of Klingons who have been on this ship for generations. They left hundreds of years previously. They left the Klingon Empire on account of all the corruption and all the bullshit, and they followed the path that they are on account of a prophecy that they were given. They were given a prophecy that there would be this person that would guide them to a new home and a new beginning, and so forth and so on. So obviously, being Klingons, you know, there is a bit of to-do and a bit of clashing and whatever, shit goes down, but in the end, you know, they work out that they're no longer at war with the Federation and the Khitomer Accord and whatnot, and that there is a Klingon officer on board. So that makes them very happy, and they meet B'Elanna, and they find out she's pregnant, and so forth and so on. And then, being some of the Klingon people, being of a rational mind, are much opposed to the idea that this is the prophecy being fulfilled. Some of them believe this. They see, hey, you know, there's this Klingon woman on board a Starfleet ship, and, you know, because there's all these different bits of information that come to light about B'Elanna and about the fact that two ancient enemies have made peace, you know, as in Starfleet and the, you know, the Klingon Empire. And they believe that this is it. It's happening, guys. And the others are going, yeah, that's bullshit, you know. In the end, what happens is it turns out that the Klingons have this genetic defect. You know, I mean, they've been on the ship for hundreds of years and whatever, and they have some sort of retrovirus. And it turns out, of course, that B'Elanna's baby has the antidote within her DNA. I'm using all the wrong language for this, but it's, you know, I'm not a scientist, thank God. So, but basically, you know, they're all cured, and they find this planet, and they settle on this planet. And in the whole episode, there are two strains of consciousness. B'Elanna, in the end, she's a scientist, you know, she's the chief engineer, and, you know, they're all, you know, ready to leave. The Klingons have been settled, and her husband, Tom, goes to her, wow, that's really quite incredible, and it's like, yeah, the prophecy's been fulfilled, and she goes, well, I don't really think it was ever really, you know, it's just, no, it's just coincidence, it doesn't really mean anything. And it had a massive impact on me. I'd never really watched it that way, and it's never made me think that way. It's never had that effect on me. But it really, really did. It was like, ta-da, you know. And I went to bed, and then I woke up the next day, and it was the whole kind of mundane reality, trauma-based mind control reinforcement circuit, and that went on for 3 days. Major interference, you know, when that happens, right? Oh, this is all there is, there's nothing else, you're powerless, you're worthless, mundane reality is all there is, there's nothing you can do. etc., etc. You know, those of you who get that, you know how fucking horrifying that is, because it's absolutely horrifying out there. Worse than ever before, you know. And so when mundane reality reinforcement is at you, which is one aspect of the hell contagion, it makes you feel like absolute crap. It's really dreadful. It's like you're made of lead, and it just, you know, this is all there is. This is all there is, and there's nothing you can do. And it just dawned on me today, and it's become very clear that that is what it is. That is the Fibonacci mind, the artificial intelligence. The hell contagion is the fake consciousness. It is dead. It is dead. It is death incarnate. Your NPC. They can be drowning in synchronicity. They can be drowning in beauty and meaningful occurrences. Incredible, creative intuition. It doesn't matter how immense and wow, mind-blowing it is. And it is completely lost on them. Well, what do you mean? No, oh, that's just a coincidence. It doesn't mean anything. And you look at them and you see their eyes are like, you know, these granite statues that you get, or these gargoyles that you get, and they've been on top of these roofs in churches for like hundreds of years, and they're all kind of eroded and dead. They're like that. They're like that. Their countenances are like that. That is why they need the science. That is why they need the framework. That is why they need to watch all the soap operas and the televisions. And that's why they need all the televisions in the gyms and the waiting rooms and the offices. And you know, increasingly on street corners, like, you know, in the town centre here, they've got this massive television screen in the middle of the town centre. They need that. They are dead. That is it needs to be propped up continually. It needs to be reminded it needs to be motivated constantly to be reminded. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to say. This is how it works. It's stunted. It's dead. Totally dead. And that is what the hell contagion is in many ways. That's why it's inside of us, and on the external plane it manifests as chaos, distortion. Nothing works out. Have you ever noticed that? Nothing fucking works. Nothing works. You know, there is no such thing as problem solving or sustainability. It's not sustainable at all. Nothing is here. Perpetual decay, perpetual destruction, perpetual disease and death. Perpetual pretending that we're good people, when in fact we're filled with envy and bile and judgment and vengeance and fear and hatred and just all kinds of nasty, oily negativity, right? It's a dead thing, and they are dead. And the normies are so inundated with the programming, the black hand, I call it, or the dark generator, every day, that when they get a glimpse of their intuition, when they get a glimpse of the meaningfulness of it all, they immediately second guess that. They immediately dismiss it. No. programming, you see, the dad consciousness, the Helgen taken, the black-handed dark generator. No, 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 no. Whereas your soul traveler, awakening more and more, going within, it is absolutely, I mean, there's no other way. You have to go within to uncover this, all of this. You have to learn to dwell in the living waters of life, the true consciousness, which is alive, which is infinitely creative, which shows you the meaning, the interconnectedness of everything at all times, that everybody around you dismisses out of hand and will never be able to understand. No matter how many times you show them or explain it to them, they will never ever be able to understand it at all. They cannot go there. I was walking down a road the other day and it was just all empty shop buildings, garbage, rubbish everywhere, dirt, and hideous looking people, you know, the weebles, wobble, they don't fall down. The NPCs increasingly are so hideous and misformed. It's like the streets are flooded with Quasimodo, from the Notre Dame. The ghouls! They're all misshapen and waddling and fat and hideous, gargoylic people, hideous, with no life at all, no life force of any kind. And whoa, I mean, incredible, wow. And I was walking and I was wondering, thinking about something, thinking about how could it have gotten this bad. I mean, it's really just gone, whoa, nosedive, massive nosedive in the last 3 years, increasingly more so. And I believe with all my being that there is a reason for that. All that is evil and bad has to be drawn out, because it was just as bad in the 70s, and it was just as bad in the 40s, and it was just as bad then. I know, because I was a child then, and people were just very, very good at pretending everything was great as they were wearing their fur coats made of the skin that had been ripped off of little beasties whilst they were still alive, and so forth and so on. It's just that it was better hidden then, guys, But as I was walking down that street and experiencing that grey, bleak, monotonous, mundane, trauma-based distortion of a hell realm, thinking, what the actual fuck? And feeling almost nauseous as I was looking at all the gargoyles. I looked down and there was a tiny little cardboard puzzle piece lying on the ground, and a bit further down was a little piece of paper that said love in large letters, and it was like the missing piece of the puzzle here is love. Love is alive, and love is something that as yet you do not understand very well. And don't fret about that, Anika, because you will. And then since that moment, I've had lots more synchronicity talking about the bigger picture, as in, it does that. It always tells me when when I'm about to take a consciousness quantum leap, things are about to shift upwards and onwards. And I watched that thing, and the living consciousness, meaningful occurrences that interconnect, interlink, right? Like what I've just described, a little puzzle piece. But there's so much more to it than that. Oh my God. It's all the difference between life and death. This is why I've never believed in the power of evil, though I have seen what it has done here. and continue seemingly to do. I've never ever succumbed, or not for very long at any rate, to the despair and the doom-laden, hell-contagion, dark generator-infused dread, fear, rage, grief, and assorted insanity that lives within me, still to an extent, you know, but that I've been purging out of my being and healing for years now. Ergo, the remembrance that this is how I know that I was never lost at all. We are never ever lost, guys. If you had been lost, you would be dead. You would have been severed. Do you understand? And you'd be dead. You would be wandering around like all the other gargoyles with your grey, ashen eyes, stumbling around, buying cheap plastic crap, taking your Fauci juice and doing that and just being dead. Dead, 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 dead. Instead, you are experiencing more and more magic. Yes, you're going through the ringer because you're literally, this is what's happening here, guys. This. You see that hell contagion, the dead consciousness literally being raked out of you, pulled out of you. It hurts. It, like I said the other day, it's a substance. It is literal etheric implantation. It's so beyond that even. There's all these openings, all these demonic attachments, everything that has been created because of the death consciousness, you know, casting a spell and creating this death world where nothing ever works out. We'll keep fixing it and it will break, and it will break more than before, and it will be more rotten than before, and there will be more garbage, and there will be more disease. I mean, there's more disease now than ever before. I mean, they really started going gung-ho with all the, children in the late 80s, early 90s. And if you look at the schedule now for childhood inoculations, it's incredible. And I think they are basically severing the connection. They are severing the divine connection, which is why all these children, nearly all of them, are dead. They can no longer commune with the Great Mother, with the meaningfulness, the knowing, and that is your divine connection. This tells you were never lost at all. You never ever were lost. It's that separation consciousness, you see, and the fake God that had the usurper. Oh, it just blew my mind. It was like, there you have it, the difference between day and night. A very clear sign that no, you were never lost at all. And it made me think about those words again, and it made me think about how for some people that are dead, basically, it's all conceptual. They can talk about spirituality, and they can talk about meaningful occurrences, synchronicity, and they can talk about all of these things as a concept, and they can talk about it, but they do not know it at all. They know nothing, because they feel nothing. They have no divine connection, you see. It's my ears. At all. And I always know when I come across people like that. I know, because I can feel no warmth and no empathy, no compassion. There's a total lack of this childlikeness, because they are all grown-ups. You know? There's that thing in the Bible. When I was a child, I thought like a child, and I spoke like a child, but now I'm a grown-up and I've left all that behind. Which, if ever there was a fucking clear sign that religion is fucking evil, that would be it. Because it's our childlikeness that is the most precious part of us. It isn't immature, it isn't stupid and in need of guidance. No. It is the all-knowing God part of us. It is the Great Mother incarnate within us. It is that, you know, innocence, purity, you know, it's the most powerful part of us. You can fight evil, you can resist, you can fight, you can do all that, and you will feed it and feed it and feed it. I have learned this. I've had to learn it the hard way many times. I know it is the truth. It is when I relinquish my resistance, let go, it goes a hell of a lot easier. I'm not saying it makes all my troubles go away. Again, it's that bitter, hate-filled, rabid voice going, yeah! Oh, the hatred, the rage that it has, and it's so unrelenting. These last, I don't know, 10 weeks, 3 months, whatever, it's been very bad. It trusts only in the death culture, in the dead consciousness, in the framework of time and space and the law of physics, you know, because all of it is false and fake. You know, spirit and matter are not separate. Matter is an illusion, you know. We are spirits and we create matter, which is just a more condensed form of the same substance that everything is made of, which is also an illusion. It's an illusion within an illusion. But infinite harmonious creativity is the true living consciousness, and it is that which lies within us, and it has our back. It really does. It brings me back to those words again that seem to antagonize so many people. Words like faith. Because when you've been religionized, whether that's Hinduism or Christianity or Islam or even Buddhism, it doesn't matter. Faith is a word that will rub you up the wrong way, because religions always expect it to be to your detriment. They always ask cruel, sadistic things from you and tell you that you need to have faith, and it's always blind faith, always. But when I think about faith and how I've experienced it and learned through walking this journey, this path, how I've learned to experience it, it is becoming increasingly aware and dwelling within, and allowing to dwell within me the living consciousness of meaningfulness, of interconnectivity, and of knowing and feeling that I am guided in everything by my true self, by the Great Mother, which is kind of one and the same thing. It's like being a drop in the ocean, and yet again, that also brings to mind, well, see, so you're just a tool, you're just a pawn, you're just a drop in the ocean. But it isn't that way. Faith is what's kept me going all this time, whilst under heavy artillery from the Black Hand and the Dark Generator. The Black Hand is kind of more of a manipulation thing, which is increasingly feeling very desperate. And the Dark Generator are these thoughts, these intrusive thoughts that increasingly as well become more and more vicious and attacking, because when you're on the right path, that will happen, because you're slipping through its fingers, you see, and that's how that goes. And it has less and less and less and less and less of your self-hate to tap into, to hold on to control you through, like a, you know, puppet on a string. It has less and less and less of that as you go within and heal, shamanically speaking, do the soul retrieval work. right, your dark side will shrink exponentially, and your living consciousness will assert itself exponentially. It is that way. I've called it a shift from dark to light, and it is. You learn to trust it, you know. And this morning it was really at me. It was really at me. It was appalling, because I ate something yesterday, something with a bit of sugar in, and now I've not really been eating things like that for about 10 weeks. I've been on a bit of a detox diet, but something said, do eat that, go and eat that, and I did, and it made me feel really sick, it really did. And I realised, I thought, wow, I bet this was made with white sugar, and I'm sure it was. It was made to look all nice and wholesome and sort of organic, but I bet you any money it wasn't. It was made with white sugar, because white sugar is a neurotoxin, and it's full of crank, and it totally feeds the hell contagion and feeds the self-hate within you. You will notice this when you eat things with white sugar, and the attacks begin almost straight away. The crank, the dark generator starts, you're disgusting, kill yourself, all kinds of really insane shit was going on. Seriously, my stomach was really hurting. And so this morning, it was at me as well. But I gained a shitload of very useful information. Pluck, 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 pluck. And now it's gone. Boom. So that was really good and very handy. Sometimes we make a mistake in order to elevate ourselves. You know, it's all part of the quantum leap, the mystical revelation, quantum leap that we experience on this path. You know, we have many of them as we elevate our consciousness. But yeah, it's always the same. It's always the same shit, you know. You're never going to get anywhere. It's all a sick, evil game, you know. What have you got to show for it? You're so worthless. You're so powerless. This is all there is. This is all there is. It's like it never comes at you with anything new. It's always the same old shit. It's not creative at all. Not at all. It's just fucking like, oh, really? That again? But there's always a little part of you still, oh, that must be true, and because you have experienced it, you've lived it, and it's usurped your memory, so you do not remember much. You get glimpses, possibly, but it's even there. It's always interfering. You know, the black hand, the dark generator, and the hell contagion, holding on to your self-hate, always wrangling you, you know. And then the other part of you, and the synchronicity, the stuff that happens. It isn't just about synchronicity, it's far more than that. The right people in the right places, the right everything, boom, 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 even mistakes, everything is utilized, and you realize you're in that sea of infinite harmonious creativity. It's fucking meaningful as fuck. It's incredible. Faith is not a mindless religion demand. Faith is something that grows within you, where you learn, I don't have to punish myself anymore. I don't have to beat the shit out of myself anymore. I can sit here and I may not be able to make all this fear and all this hatred and all this rage and all this insanity go away. But I can step into the room of my living consciousness, which is here too. It has my back, and I can relinquish it. I can keep letting it go and remember that I am a being of infinite love. Because we are beings of love. They will tell you that you're worthless and you're bad and guilty, dirty, sinful, but you know as well as I do that you are good and pure and true, that you have a heart of God, that you care, that you love, that you have empathy. You're a being of light, a being of love. It's as simple as that. Faith is dedication to yourself, dedication to the light, dedication to this path that you're walking. Trust another word that gets a lot of people very irate, me included, is, again, it's not blind trust. It's not chuckle-headed, stupid, gargoyle insanity, like, oh, stick it in me, doc. No. It's experience is borne out that, okay, this is right, this is good, I trust this increasingly, I trust my gut instinct, I trust myself, you know? And again, it's something that you forged through years of doing the hard work, whilst under the onslaught of the dark generator, you know, but it's there, you grow it. It's part of who you are. And it's a sacred thing that, again, eludes language. It has to be known. All of this has to be known. It cannot be something that could ever be understood with a dad consciousness. You know, the rational Fibonacci dad consciousness. Because as we see now, that consciousness is telling us the most absurd, ludicrous lies. And we see the NPCs believing it. The whole world is insane, bar us. We are more and more and more sane, as all that evil is being exposed for what it is. Out there, in here, same thing, yeah? Ergo, we feel this sludge coming out of us, you know, and it feels like, oh boy, bad. You know, when Neo was climbing out of his pod, remember? And all those black things at the back of his nervous system going pop, 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 coming out. And then he has to go on that table because all his muscles have atrophied. Well, our muscles have atrophied as well. Our sovereignty, our I am, I know who I am, what I'm doing here, and I'm doing it now. That's a muscle. Our muscles are bit by bit, we have to start using them again. We have to start using these muscles of saying, no, I'm not believing this fucking bullshit. I'm not going to live on my knees. No. I know that, yes, I have faith. And I understand what that means now. It doesn't mean what the dad consciousness used to tell me it means. It's usurped this language. The word faith, the word trust, the word surrender. Surrender doesn't mean I'm surrendering to the enemy, I'm giving up. No, it doesn't mean that at all. Again, it's a usurpation. Language has been usurped and manipulated, and black magic has been applied so that you unwittingly censor yourself and manipulate yourself and torment yourself. Not able to... It's all done on purpose, guys, alright? Remember that. Surrender is when you let go of everything that you know does not serve you, like self-hate, self-torment, all the negative hell contagion consciousness that still dwells within you. You learn to differentiate. Oh yeah, the enemy within. You learn slowly but surely to... Okay, you keep letting go, you keep coming back to love. You learn how to do that, and it's very much a stop and start and stop and start and in and out and like that, you know. Another word, imagination. Imagination. And that's a very big, big word. Because if you really stop and pay attention to what goes on here, how much of your imagination is purely yours, devoid of infiltration and interference from television or video games or books or any kind of outside influence? Because very important part of this is to regain control over our imagination, because that is very important. It's a very important part of how we're going to bring forth the light reset. We cannot do it when our imagination, our creative, fluid faculty is still in the hijacked prison. That's why they have television, you know. Television. Have you ever watched, I don't know, something that just is, you know, inherently it's wrong and it's bad and you shouldn't be watching it because you can feel it's really just wrong. But you watch it anyway. And then you lie in bed and you're literally tormented with it. It's like there and it's got you. You can't stop thinking about it. And you feel it physically, you know, energetically, and it's there. A lot of TV, and again, this is increasingly the case. I mean, most of it is satanic as fuck. It's like that for a reason. Ads are the same. I mean, even back in the day, like the Tom and Jerry cartoons and the very old black and white Mickey Mouse cartoons, they were full of subliminal shit, man. It was really bad. All of this. And even before that, in the 30s and the 40s, you know, radio. It's all electromagnetic, guys, don't forget, you know. I mean, there are so many different elements to this, and what we're immersed in here is so big. So big. But it's all the difference between death and life. Life is infinite. It is not repetitive, self-repeating, unimaginative. Oh, the system, I'm doing this because it's what I'm told to do. No. It is creative, but it's been hijacked, and we are slowly coming out of it. We're coming back alive. We're learning to use those muscles again, bit by bit, but it's painful, it's difficult, it's fucking beyond words. And here's the hell contagion, the black hand, the dark generator. You're never going to get anywhere. Doubt, fear. Right? There's these people, you know, you call them haters online, where you post something on Facebook or whatever, and it's something that is beautiful, and you get some really nasty comment from somebody, you know, blah blah. It's like that. That's an external manifestation of an internal state. Because their hell contagion is strong in them, or they're just an NPC, you know, which is pure hell contagion, and it will attack you. The more it attacks you now, the more you're on the right path. Okay? So don't give up, whatever you do. Stand your ground, it's sacred. It's all a dirty, oily pack of lies, and it's a physical infiltration. It is a viral pollution, the hell contagion. You can feel the demons fleeing you, your consciousness, your body. You can feel them disengaging, pop, 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 and screaming as you're doing your sacred work, you know? Yeah. Faith, trust, surrender, discernment. You know, I call it having spirit eyes. When you have spirit eyes, when you have learned to trust yourself. I mean, you know, when you're dealing with an NPC, nothing called Mattel, ick, gargoyle people, nothing, dead, warm. It might be a normie, but you know, soul, because you feel the warmth. And the discernment goes way sky high in the minutiae and in the big ways and the small ways. You know what is what. And the hell can, no, you can't trust that, you can't trust yourself, you mustn't trust yourself, you're worthless and powerless and you're never going to get out of here, this is all there is, this is all there is, this is all there is. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, sure. I said in my last video, it will do everything to keep you trapped here. Because it needs your love, your magic, your power, your life force to regenerate itself. Without that, it's fucked. Okay? And as to what is love? What is love? Again, this is a major distortion and a major hijack. It's not about Valentine's Day or sex or falling in love or any of that. Procreation. It has nothing to do with that. Love is this infinite, synchronicitous, meaningful, creative, fluid, living consciousness. There is no need for it to feed off anything or to use anything up so that itself may live. It is full and gives of itself and remains full. It is an infinite spectrum of colors, not like here where you have how many primary colors? I don't even know. Everything glows, everything is alive, everything is perpetual motion. It is an infinite thing and it needs nothing at all. It always is. It never diminishes. That is love. The opposite of that is death. I need to feed, I need to feed, I need to feed, I need to feed, otherwise I will be no more. Okay, well. See, what we call magic and what we call miraculous is in fact our natural being. It is the natural way of it all. This, when people are going, sustainability. Oh, this world is death incarnate. Of course, nature is reborn over and over again. We are reborn over and over again. Our souls cannot be destroyed. Evil is such that if it could, it would destroy us, annihilate us, soul and all. But it can't do that, you see. So it has to use the soul trap system. But when we have had all the experience and nuances that we wanted to have, needed to have, we can be here now, a soul traveler, exit life, and begin to use our magic. Remember who we are. And what will happen then? Well, I don't know, but I feel it will be spectacular and profound, you know. And it will even meet you there. It will even be there, getting you to settle for less, compromise. No. Anyway, this is really all I wanted to talk about today. Focus on your imagination, guys. Think about that. Where are you at with that? A soul traveler will always be possessed of a fertile imagination, but it will always be, there will always be an attack and a hijack attempt, and it will always be infiltrated. And I feel that what's going to start happening is our imagination will begin to be liberated. It will begin to clear. Something is happening. I can feel it. We're rising more, and there's going to be subtle shifts in terms of these muscles, the muscles of faith, the muscles of surrender, the muscles of trust, the muscles of discernment, the muscles of imagination and creation, personal, you know, responsibility is another word a lot of people don't like, and again it's been hijacked and manipulated and distorted. Own your stuff, own everything, and just let it be utilized. Forgiveness is another word that fucks people off in a big way, and it has nothing to do with forgiving the enemy. It's everything to do with allowing yourself to no longer hold on to the hatred and the vengeance, because it makes you ill and it makes you sick and it makes you bitter, and you don't need to suffer like that anymore. You see, because the dead will bury the dead. They're just a bunch of fucking dead gargoyles. It doesn't matter anymore. Anyway, I think I'll call it a day there. So, all my love to all of you.